Hello and welcome. You're listening to a live broadcast of The Honest Guys here on YouTube. This is the second in a series of live broadcasts that will take place over the coming days. During these broadcasts, we'll be airing selected stories from our unique album, The Fantasy Worlds Collection. The album contains guided visualizations and guided meditations set in fantasy environments. In today's broadcast, we're going to be airing a relaxing guided visualization story from the album called The Sea Haven. The story will be starting in just a few minutes' time, so now would be a great time to think about getting yourself comfortable. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed for the next 25 minutes or so, and if you can do that, you'll hopefully get to really enjoy this fantasy story experience. It's possible you may fall asleep during this broadcast, so obviously it goes without saying, do not drive or do anything that will endanger you or others while listening to this. We recommend you listen through headphones if you can, as you'll get a much better experience. So if you need to go and find your headphones, you've got about a minute or two before the story begins. The guided visualizations we've selected from the album to play in these live feeds are quite powerful. So it's best for these broadcasts to be enjoyed one track at a time. If we were to air the full album in one go, then probably about 95% of anyone listening will not remain awake after the first couple of tracks, because the tracks can and likely will lull you into sleep. So we decided the best approach was to play one main story for each live broadcast, so you can get to really enjoy and experience each one fully. Do remember to look out for notifications of more live story broadcasts from the Fantasy Worlds Collection album that we will be airing over the coming days. Please note that all of the stories from the Fantasy Worlds Collection album that you'll be hearing in these live broadcasts are not available freely on YouTube outside of the live feeds. When this broadcast is over, there will not be an archived video of it available. These are also not available on any of the streaming services. If you decide you want to have access to these recordings so you can listen at any time, there is a link below to the album page. The only way you can legitimately obtain these recordings is through an album purchase from our official outlets at CD Baby, iTunes or Amazon. It's important to understand that purchasing this album really will help support us and will enable us to continue doing what we do in creating new content. So album purchases are really important and are very, very much appreciated. And our heartfelt thanks goes to everyone who has already purchased this album. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin, shall we? Today's guided visualization is called The Sea Haven. It'll be a treat for anyone who likes elves, as you get to meet an elven warden who is a guardian of the spacious haven set on the shores of the Sea of Shadow. It's quite likely you may fall asleep by the end of this one, so this live broadcast will end quietly once the story has finished. The Sea Haven is about 22.5 minutes long. Do remember to look out for notifications of more live story broadcasts from this album that we will be airing tomorrow or within the next few days. So that's it from myself, Rick, from Kevin and from Sean. We hope to see you in the next live broadcast, and in the meanwhile, we very much hope you enjoy being immersed in this guided fantasy story coming up right now. This is the Sea Haven. Enjoy. Join us now on a guided journey into a mythical place of fantasy where elves and other beings of legend and magic still exist. In this guided visualization, you will find and meet with them. To prepare for your journey, find a comfortable place where you'll not be disturbed and sit or lie down. Close your eyes and take a few long, deep breaths. And then just fall into a natural breathing pattern. You find yourself walking down a path between low green hills, all scattered with wild flowers and full-leaved trees. In the distance, you think you can see white buildings, large houses or rambling villas. They gleam white as pearls against the green of the land. Above you, the sky is a high arc of blue, with a few birds wheeling very high up. Behind you lie low, rugged green hills, and further away, the mist of green pine forests climb the slopes of great mountains. The tops are iced white with snow, although the sun shines warm on your head. Before you, the air has that glimmering quality that hints of the sea, although the lay of the land prevents you from seeing it as yet. There does not seem to be anyone around, although a white road runs close by, curving down toward the houses. You join it, walking slowly, hearing the cry of gulls, smelling that faint, salty scent of the sea as you breathe the fresh air deep into your lungs. Gradually, as the road slopes down, you catch a glimpse of the sea, or rather an inlet between steep hills that gradually widen to the vast, lazy blue of the ocean beyond. Behind you, you hear the sound of horses' hooves and turn to look. A rider is catching up with you, hair a banner of gold in the sea breeze, their horse as pale as sea foam. You step back from the road, wondering if you are somehow trespassing, but the rider stops, reining in their mount. They are dressed in half armour, a sword belt around their waist. A pattern of stars glitters on their breastplate. Their face is fair and strong as an angel's, stern as a warrior's, but the expression is friendly. They nod their head to you in greeting, their eyes blue as the sea, steady on your face. They are eyes as old as time in a young face, eyes that have seen different worlds. They ask if you have seen the Sea Haven. You don't know what the Sea Haven is, and you say so. They point to the houses beyond and tell you that this is the Sea Haven, the last port and harbour of the elves on the shores of the world. As they speak, they dismount, slipping the horse's reins over one arm, and say they will walk with you. Their stride is light and effortless, as if they glide over the earth rather than walk. The breeze lifts the long hair from their face, showing the faintly pointed ears. You realize that this warrior is of the ancient race of the elves. Not everyone is welcome here, they tell you, not in these times. But enemies would be well known, and they can tell you are not one. With a slanting smile at you, they say that you come from the outside, the world beyond. You ask them if they mean the earth, and they nod, but say that this is the earth too, but a different reality to yours, like something on the other side of a mirror. The road gently turns into a series of zigzags, down toward a harbour where you can see great white ships berthed. One of them is easing out toward the open sea, its oars dipping. Then, as it meets the breeze, the great sails cup the wind. You can see your companion's face is a little sad, thoughtful as they gaze at it. Sometimes people leave, they tell you, seeking for the lands where the war is just a distant rumour. What war, you ask? A shadow of ancient darkness, they say, but as yet it is held at bay. The great houses step down the hillside toward the water, each in their own large grounds. They are quiet, but the harbour below is busier. As you gaze, your eyes are drawn up to something flying in the sky. You stare. If it is a bird, it is truly enormous. But the huge, almost lazy wing beats suggest something else entirely. The sun glimmers on the winged creature as if it is a great jewel. Then it dips lower over the haven, and your breath comes short in your throat as you see what it must impossibly be. It is a dragon, bright as a gem, and it passes overhead, trailing a vast shadow. But your companion seemed unconcerned, merely raising a hand toward the sky in salute. The Dragon Lords, they tell you, they live beyond those mountains you see behind you, the towers of the wind. But they come, at times, to the sea haven, taking on human shape, men and women. They are our allies. You watch as the dragon rises, beating a path out over the glittering ocean. Your companion looks at you kindly and asks if you would like refreshment. You are led to a gleaming white villa that overlooks the harbour and the sea inlet. You glimpse wide, elegant rooms, open to the warm air and the breeze. You see that the house is built around a beautiful garden. A chain of tiny pools are connected by a stream like a jeweled necklace. Roses bloom, and bees drone lazily among the banks of lavender. Your companion brings a tray of food and drink, inviting you to sit, to eat and drink. You sit back on a cushioned bench and relax. There is more you would like to learn about this world, and you say so. The elf gives you a smile. You will, they say. But not all at once. It would be overwhelming. You might call this the other world, they say. Long ago, people like us came here. The Dragon Lords, born of fire. The elves, born of starlight. The folk of the forests, the streams and rivers. Humans no longer believed in them, in us. And so we withdrew into dream and legend. But the ancient enemies came to the other world too. The elf tells you they are a warden or border guard, one of those who patrol the edges of the realms, keeping back the shadows, the things that come in darkness. They look at you for a moment, then smile and tell you that part of your mind has always been aware of this world. You may have a part to play in this story if you wish it. But for now, you should rest. Gently return back to your waking world until the next time. And be aware, they say, of what you might see in dream, out of the corner of your eye. A glint of sunlight reflected in a window. We, in this world, can move into yours if we wish. The membrane between the two is very thin. Stay as long as you wish, they tell you, although they must go about their duties. You will be perfectly safe. The havens and the other realms are guarded for the moment. You watch them leave, the sun seeming to shine more brightly around them, and you lie back on the cushions. They smell clean, of herbs and sunlit air. The gulls call overhead, and a breath of the sea breeze rustles the flowers. The tiny stream sings its own song as it passes from pool to pool. The scent of the flowers is dreamlike, soothing. There is a sense of anticipation and excitement within you, but a peacefulness too, as if you do not have to strive to know everything, because you will have plenty of time. You can think and drowse and rest, protected and tranquil in this mythical other world. You hear the voice of the elf, gentle as a feather, brush your mind. Rest, they say. Sleep. We shall meet again very soon.